If you're looking for the best video on how to run Facebook ads profitably and scalably, A to Z, step by step, this video is going to be for you. This is the video that I wish I honestly had when I was getting started running Facebook ads. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Blake Bauer, and I've been running Facebook ads for over 7 years, and I have tens of millions of dollars in ad spend and manage client ad accounts across pretty much every industry you can imagine. So I know exactly what it takes to run Facebook ads profitably, especially when it comes to today, because a lot of things have changed with Facebook ads. You need to stay updated on the cutting edge best ways to run Facebook ads to profitably scale, right? So results like this: in the last 7 days, we were able to generate a 7.39 ROAS with $7,800 in revenue generated. And this campaign, $1,300 at a 5.41 ROAS. Or this campaign where we generated $43,000 at a 19x ROAS, and several other campaigns where we generated $29,000 at a 6.9, $8,300 at a 4.0 ROAS. Or like this, where we generated $34,000 at a 4.54 ROAS, and tons more results like that. So if you want results like this, stick around for the full video, and I'm gonna break down exactly how to get them. All right, so to get started running Facebook ads, you wanna go to business.facebook.com, and it's gonna open up a page that looks like this, where you go ahead and log in using your Facebook or Instagram account. Facebook ties their advertising managing accounts to essentially your profiles on Facebook or Instagram, right? And so you need to log into those accounts to verify your identity, to make sure that that's what you log in and use when advertising across Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram. All right, now once you log in, it's gonna bring you to a page that looks like this, the Meta Business Suite. And so on the left right here, you can see you have your various Instagram and Facebook accounts that are connected. These are your businesses, and that's where it's all hosted. And so you can see right now I have my personal profiles right here, or my business ones, right? And so this is my Facebook and my Instagram account, and I can see all of my comments and all of those things. And I can also see my ads manager, my inbox, lead center, content, planner, ads, and also you have all tools right here, which has a ton of other different things that you can see here. Your events manager, which is where we're going to set up the pixel. You have your ads manager, of course. You have your audiences for ads. And honestly, there's a ton of other things here that you don't really need to know about, but all of that is there for you. So the first thing that I'm going to get you to do when you're in here is go to settings at the bottom left. This is going to be the better place that operates as kind of your hub to operate and have everything easily visible and be able to create your first ad accounts if you don't have one, be able to create your first data set or pixel, and go ahead and connect your Facebook and Instagram accounts all together and make sure you have everything ready to go when it comes to first running your ads. Okay, so go to settings here. I gotta get this code. Okay, so now you can see that I'm at the Meta Business settings. And again, this is the main hub that you wanna get to, right? And so what we can see from here is we have people. And so if you wanted to invite people to your business manager accounts, this is where you can do that. For example, if you have different team members, you can add them in here and everybody can manage your assets, they can manage your ad accounts, and you can assign access to whoever you need. Now, if you don't already have a business manager, or you want to create a different business manager for a different company account, maybe it's just your personal account that's connected to this right now and you want to create a new one for your company account, what you can do is go to the left right here, and then you can see you have all of your different business portfolios. They're all going to be blurred out for me. But what you can do right here is create a business portfolio right here, and that's going to house your different business, right? And so I have one for my Blake Bauer, and I also have one for my agency, Jet Ads, as well. So create a business portfolio, and then you can name that business portfolio again after the public name of your business, first name, last name. You can create that, and that's where you can connect all of your assets for that business. Next, just kind of going through the settings right here, what you're going to want to do is go to business info right here, and you're going to want to fill this out and make sure that this kind of matches up with your legal business information. This helps Facebook verify your business and helps avoid running into ad account bans or any issues related to that. Now, next thing, under accounts, we're gonna go to pages right here. And if you don't already have a Facebook page for your business, you need to have one in order to run ads. And so I already have one right here, but if you don't have one, this is an easy place to go ahead and connect an existing Facebook page, or you can go ahead and create a new Facebook page, and that will essentially be tied into your business settings now. And again, we need that to run ads, so you're gonna wanna set that up. And again, if you wanted to add users, you could easily assign users and add people to your pages to manage those pages for you. Next, we're gonna go to Instagram accounts as well. Same thing here. We wanna have our Facebook and our Instagram accounts within here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on add, okay? And if you already have an Instagram account, it's gonna get you to log into an Instagram account now. If you don't already have one, you're gonna have to go ahead and create one, and then you can go ahead and add that in here. Again, important for running Meta ads, you wanna have both Facebook and an Instagram account. If you just wanna run ads on Facebook, you might not need an Instagram account, but still recommend to have both and connect them together in the Facebook or Instagram settings. you can go ahead and find a setting that allows you to connect both of them. Next, we're going to go to ad accounts right here. And so you can see we have 2 different ad accounts already right here. But if you don't already have an ad account, very easy to go ahead and create one. Again, go to add right here, and it's going to ask you to create a new ad account. You can add an existing ad account as well, or you can request access to an ad account in another business portfolio. And so if you're creating a new ad account, click on create a new ad account, add in your ad account name. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. Select the time zone. Next. So this ad account will be used for my business. If you're using this for another client, then you can go ahead and select that. But my business, agree, create ad account. You need to add in a credit card to be able to run ads. So this is a good time to go ahead and add in your payment info so that you're already good to go. But once you log into the ad account, which will happen a little bit later, it'll ask you to add in a payment method there. So you want to just add that in as soon as possible. Okay, so right now I'm just going to go done. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our data set or pixel. So those are pretty much the same thing. Pixels are now called data sets if you didn't know. So what we're going to be doing is going down to data sets right here, or data sources, and then we're going to go to data sets. And this is where we're going to be creating our pixel. Okay, and this is what tracks all of our website traffic. This is what tracks add to carts, initiate checkouts, purchases, super important, or even leads, right? If you have a lead or call funnel, it tracks all of this, and this is the most important piece that we need to have in order to optimize our ads. So again, same thing right here. If you don't already have a data set, we're going to go add, and we're going to go ahead and name this data set. Say Blake test data sets. So then we go ahead and click create. Now I already have one, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to here. And from here, what we can see is we have our ID right here, and then we have our connected people. And so I'm going to go ahead and assign myself to this, manage the data set. All right. Now what I can do is go right here and then go open Events Manager. And I can see this data set right here. So it doesn't have any recent activity because I haven't connected it to my actual website. And so there's several ways to connect the data set, and I recommend you doing this right now, is going ahead and adding it through a partner integration. Makes it super, super easy to do. And so if we go here to set up the Meta Pixel, then you have a couple options. So you can install the code manually, which I don't recommend doing, and then you have check for partners. So if your partner's eligible for a partner integration like Shopify, WordPress, and more, then you can add it through a partner integration. And so if I go ahead and click on check partner integration right here, these are the different partner websites that have an app essentially that connects your Facebook or Instagram account. So we have Bandzoogle, we have BigCommerce, we have Google Analytics, so you can go to something like the Shopify App Store or whatever app store for whatever e-commerce or website platform you use, should be an app store, and search Facebook or just Meta or Facebook and Instagram, and you should see an app like this. So in Shopify, when you open this app, you essentially install this, and what this does is it's free to install, and then it's going to get you to log in and connect your Facebook account, and then it's going to get you to connect your data set as well. Okay, so an example of what this looks like is we now have our data set connected right here. We have the tracking set to maximum, which essentially gives Facebook the most amount of data, the most accurate data, allowing them to optimize much better. And then we also connect our catalog from here as well. So all of your products get uploaded, and you can create something like a Facebook or Instagram shop. And that's how you would do that. You can advertise your products directly using a catalog ad. All right, so now that we've done that with the data set and all of that is connected, you can go ahead and test the events to make sure that it's working. So you can go to here, test events, and then go to run a test, enter your website URL, and then click on test events. It's going to open up something that essentially shows you the actual data in real time that's being tracked, including page views, content views, add to carts, checkouts, and even purchases. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we were. Go at the bottom here to business settings, and then go to your ad account. And then what we're going to do is we're now ready to go to run ads on Facebook and Instagram. So things are about to get exciting. Go ahead and open up your ad account by clicking right here. So again, if you haven't added in your payment info, go ahead and add in your payment method right here. So you can select your country, currency, time zone, go next, and then you can go ahead and add in your debit or credit card, or you can also add in a PayPal. And you can go ahead and connect that, and you should be good to go. Now, a couple things to know about is on the left right here, you have your ads reporting, you have your audiences. So this is where you would create retargeting audiences for website visitors, lookalike audiences as well, based on purchases, things like that. And you can also create a purchase audience too, and exclude purchasers so you're not targeting people that have already bought from you. I don't really recommend that, but you can do that. You also have your billing and payments. So if you wanted to manage your billing settings, you can do that there. You also have your events manager here, which is where we have our data sets. And then you have all tools here. You can see there's a ton of different things here, but those are the main things to be aware of. The commerce manager as well is another thing, which is where you would host and manage your catalog if you're uploading your product catalog into Facebook and Instagram as well. Now, the first thing you're going to see when you go into Facebook ads, the platform itself hasn't really changed over the years. So if you're familiar with this at all, then this should be pretty straightforward for you. But what you can see is you have your campaigns, your ad sets, and then your ads. And so each of these essentially is like a nested layer. It's a layer that houses the layer below. And so we have campaigns. So you can create a campaign, and then within each of these campaigns, you're going to have pretty much unlimited ad sets that you can do within each campaign. And then within your ad sets, that's where you're going to have ads. And so you can do unlimited ads, in each ad set, but you really want to do we recommend doing one dynamic creative test ad, which has multiple assets all in one ad essentially, and lets Facebook optimize it. But you can add up to 4 individual ads in here as well. And so all of those will run under each ad set. And so this is essentially what it looks like from a high level. You're going to create your campaign. This is where you set your objective and also your budget. That's pretty much all a campaign does, and it houses your ad sets. And so again, if you want to run a lead generation campaign, then you would create a separate campaign for that. If you want to run a campaign just targeting the US and then another campaign targeting Europe, you can do that as well, which is what we recommend. And then within those campaigns, then you have your ad sets. This is where you do the targeting. So this is where you're going to be targeting your interest. You're going to be setting up your demographic targeting. So what gender you want to target, what age range you want to target, and also what platform you want to target. So if you just want to run ads on just Facebook, you can do that, or just Instagram, or whatever. And then within those ad sets, then you have your ads, and this is where you're uploading your creative, your copywriting, your headline, and your website URL to then create your ad. So hopefully that's all pretty straightforward and simple. And now I want to show you the best practices when setting up an ad to get the best results like what I just showed you right here. So to show you that, this is really what we want to be shooting for right here. This is the campaign structure that we use across our campaigns, and it gets the best results. And what we're seeing is more and more of, not only just in Facebook ads, but also Google ads and other platforms, is the push towards more AI, using that platform, using the algorithm more and more to get the best results. Ultimately, what's the main thing that you can control really comes down to the budget and then your ads, right? And so you can control obviously how much you're spending per day, and you can really control the creatives that you give to Facebook and the copywriting that you're using, and informing that with well-structured research. And so that's really where the process starts when it comes to campaign structure, is we want to be doing proper research around persona, around understanding the desire of our market, right? The main desire, the main reason that people buy from us. Usually there's one main reason, and that aligns with kind of the market's underlying desire. And so how can we tie the market's underlying desire to our main benefit of our product? And that also goes around sophistication. What other products have they tried? Is this a good case to do a competitor comparison ad where we're wanting them to switch from another product to our product? And that's going to essentially shoot out our ad angles. And so you want to already start thinking about what are some ad angles that you want to test that's going to resonate with your market. Ultimately, why are we running ads, and what is the purpose of ads? We're doing all the technical stuff, but really it comes down to you're showing messages to a real person in real life, and you want that person to resonate with your ad, click on your ad, discover about your product, learn more about you, and ultimately buy from you, right? And so we need to be thinking about this is just a tool to present a message to our ideal customer. And so we start thinking about that now. When it comes to the actual campaign structures and setups, this becomes a lot easier once we have our ad angles as far as how we test those ad angles to find winning ads and scale them. So once we kind of start to devise our ad angles, right, and we have our ad ideas, and I'll show you a little bit more about how to do that, we're going to go ahead and create our manual sales campaign. This is using an Advantage campaign budget. We recommend using a $100 per day minimum. If you don't have $100 per day minimum, I wouldn't recommend running ads, especially to cold audiences, to brand new targeting, right? That's about $3,000 per month. If you don't have that type of budget and that type of money to lose to test for several months, I wouldn't recommend starting with ads, because you can burn money, and you ultimately need to be willing to learn ads, get better, fail, test a lot, invest a lot of time up front without maybe seeing a lot of results early, because you need to get better at creating ads, running ads, and having Facebook have enough data to optimize. So we're going to be doing the objective is sales. Okay, I'm assuming you're an e-commerce brand. We want to make online sales. We want to make some transactions. We want to do the campaign objective as sales, and I'll show you how to set that up. We're going to be doing the ad sets as far as targeting goes. We're going to be doing one ad set with our first angle with broad targeting. So this is literally no targeting. And we're going to be doing an ad set 2 with an interest or a lookalike audience targeting. And that's going to be the same angle. And then we're going to continue on like that. So any new angle, so angle 2, we're going to be creating a broad audience and a interest targeting audience. That's for angle 2. We're going to have 2 separate ads for that, and we're going to keep going down the line like that. If you're currently already running ads for Facebook and Instagram, what we're going to do is create a winning ad and using a winning audience. And so that essentially involves taking the post ID, copying all the engagement over, and running an ad using our top winning ads. You always want to be leveraging your top winning ads to scale further. So when it comes to researching and creating those ad angles, you're going to want to be creating 3 creatives, either video ads or static ads. And so for your video ads, it's pretty easy to churn out 3 different videos because you want to be either thinking about using 3 different hooks in both cases. So if you have a video ad concept, you want to keep the body the same and use a new visual hook in the first 5 seconds with the same script and the same body, or a new video ad with 3 hooks with the same script, or 3 new video ads with a new hook, so a new kind of script hook with the same visuals and same body. So a good way to film this is, if you're filming video ads yourself, is just film hooks and bodies separately. So if you know that you're going to be wanting to film an ad, right, make the body its dedicated own section where you can insert different hooks on top of that. So what I did when I was filming my ads is I would literally film 5 different hooks, and I would film 3 different bodies, for example, and that would give me 15 different ads because I can pair those 5 different hooks with those 3 different bodies. And so that's a great way to spin out a lot of different ad angles, and that gives me a total of, again, 15 different ads that I can run and test. So ideally what you can do is go ahead and film 3 different hooks with 3 different bodies right out of the gate, and that gives you a total of 3 different ad angles to go ahead and test. Now, same thing with static images. A lot easier to get started with static images. You can go ahead and film 3 images with new visuals, same headline, or 3 images with a new visual with a new headline. With the same visual and a new headline. So I'll show you what that looks like. So again, this is what kind of defines your ad angle. You have your persona, your market desire, awareness, sophistication, mechanism. That is kind of encompassing your ad angle. Now, when it comes to creating the ad, we're going to use a flexible ad. And then we are going to have our ad set 1, which is broad targeting. Ad set 2 is interest targeting. And we're going to have 3 creatives, 2 headlines, and 2 primary text for a total of 12 ads. And same thing for ad set number 2, except we're just using an interest, so same ad essentially. So this is what it looks like when it comes to setting that up. We're going to be going ahead and creating our campaign right here. And you have several different campaign objectives. I have another video on the channel, which is all about campaign objectives. And so if you want to know just kind of the cliff notes of that, always bid for what you want. If you want traffic, and essentially you're just looking for Instagram profile visits or followers, use a traffic campaign. That's how you can get followers. If you want leads, you want website form submissions, you want to generate calls, then use leads. Or if you want to generate sales, which is, I'm assuming, the majority of the case for people running Facebook ads, right? And what I'm essentially recommending you with, based on the results that we have and what you're probably looking for, is to use a sales campaign, which is ultimately going to get you website purchases and that ROAS that you want. So we're going to select sales in this case. I'm going to go continue. We're going to select a manual sales campaign as I recommended. You also have Advantage plus shopping, but I don't recommend that unless you're at a much larger budget, in which case it makes sense to test that out. You already have established winning ads that you can create into an Advantage plus campaign. So we're going to go manual sales campaign, continue. Now from here, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and name this campaign. And so I'd recommend you naming this ACB sales. Then I typically would go for the country that you're looking to target. And then, your brand name as well. So like some unique identifier. So if this is kind of like your first campaign, I'm going to go 001, and then I'm going to go brand name. So brand name right there. Actually, I put this at the front. Okay. And then now we're going to go down here. The only thing that we want to worry about right here, you have your auction type, all this you can leave. Advantage campaign budget is what we want to turn on. We want to be using a campaign level budget. Makes it much easier to control. And Facebook's ultimately going to put the budget where it's seeing the best results. So you don't need to manually optimize the budgets and try to control the media buying in a crazy way. You can just use a daily campaign budget and Facebook will automatically give you the most results and give the ads that are doing the best the most budget. So campaign bid strategy, we're going to optimize for the highest volume. So other options that you have are, you can also do a cost per result goal. So this is a bit more complicated and kind of for scaling. So we don't recommend that. You also have a ROAS goal, and then you have also bid caps. So very advanced strategies. Don't really recommend unless you have a very large budget and you're trying to find kind of unique ways to scale and to kind of algorithm hack Facebook. And so in general, you just want to go highest volume and set a daily budget. And you can always scale that budget up if you're seeing better and better results. You also have budget scheduling. So you can schedule budget increases on certain days. We don't use this too much, but you have that option there if that makes sense for you. But otherwise, you're good to go on the campaign level. Like I said, it's super simple at the campaign level. This just houses now our ad set and our ad. So we're going to go next right here, and this is going to bring us down now to the ad set level. So from here, what we're going to select is website. You also have website and shop, but I recommend just running your ads to the website. building that brand awareness, getting the pixel data of everybody who lands on your website, and just keeping it simple for your customers to buy right from one spot. So from here, we have our performance goal. So maximize number of conversions. Okay, so we have our data set connected to our ad account. So what we can go ahead and do is select our data set right here, and then we can select our conversion event. And so once you have this set up and connected to Shopify, you will see these events will be green right here. Might take a little bit, but that means they're essentially active. It's receiving data for those events. So you're gonna wanna select purchase right here. You always wanna select the final end result that you want. So again, purchases is pretty much 99% of the case. Running a sales campaign, select the purchase event. Now, what we're gonna be doing, you can leave dynamic creative off. We're gonna be using flexible creatives at the ad set level. You can see right here, dynamic creative is going away soon. You might already, probably you won't even see this option for you. My account's a bit older, so in this case, sometimes it still shows this, but essentially dynamic creative will enable the flexible ad format. So it's the same thing as enabling the flexible ad format at the ad set level. So if you don't see this, it's no problem. We're using the same thing, just at the ad set level, we're gonna turn that on. Then you have your budget and scheduling. So in terms of start date, you can pretty much ignore the start date right here, just leave it for current. However, you can also do the next day at 12 a.m. So that just allows it a full day cycle. If you want your ads to start running immediately, and essentially start running as soon as Facebook approves them, then you can just leave the time that it has set for it and you're good to go there. So you have your ad set spending limits, your budget scheduling, you don't need to do anything there. You also have your end date. So if you're running a promotion that has a specific end date, this is where you want to go ahead and schedule that, and pretty easy to do. Select this, select an end date and a time, and you're good to go there. Don't need to worry about manually turning that off. You can operate at a daily budget without overspending once your campaign ends. Now, audience controls right here. Like I said, this is where the ad set really comes into play. So we selected our conversion event, we selected our pixel here at the ad set level, and now we're also doing our targeting. So we have our location right here. So what we can do in this case is we can select different countries. So I currently have Canada set. I could also target the United States. So let's say I just want to target the United States. I'm going to remove Canada from that. And you can also get really specific. So if you wanted to go deeper, you could go to specific states, and you could target just specific states. Or you could even do like a pin drop around your local business. If you want to do like a 20-kilometer radius around or 20-mile radius around your business, you can do that. So just be mindful of that. If you are a local business or looking to run Facebook ads for lead generation or something like that, you can easily do that as well to target a local area. But in general, if you're running an e-commerce brand, target an entire country. Better to do it like that. And I wouldn't recommend starting with like a global campaign targeting multiple countries. Target one country and figure out your market there. Then you can expand to different countries using a new campaign type. So again, we can start with the United States. We can create a new campaign once this is working, targeting the EU or Australia or something like that. But right now I recommend just targeting the United States to start out here. This is our main market. So from here, what we can do is we can set a minimum age, and then we can exclude custom audiences as well. Don't recommend doing that, but this is where you could exclude purchases or something like that if you wanted to. And then you can also set your language right here. Now, currently we have Advantage plus audience on, and then that's where we can add in audience suggestions. So if we wanted to add in a suggestion for where we think our audience is, we can do that here. But what that essentially means is Facebook is using its AI and everything like that to take your suggestion, try it out, but really Facebook can target whoever it wants, whatever interest it wants, to ultimately get you your result. Now, this can work if you have a lot of data already in your account. You've gotten purchases. You have a history of Facebook knowing who's buying from you. If you don't, however, what do you really want to be doing? And I recommend this for most accounts, unless you're spending, well in excess of like 30,000 per month, is switch to the original audience options so that you can guide Facebook more clearly towards who is your ideal customer in terms of interest and age range. So we're going to switch to the original audience section. So essentially what we're doing is we're not letting Facebook using its advanced ad tech, right, to find the audience that's going to improve the campaign performance. We're going to just narrow that down a little bit. Facebook's still going to primarily have a lot of access to data and a lot of freedom to target, but we're just kind of limiting the demographics a little bit more. So for age range right here, now that we're on the original audience options, what we can do is we can narrow down the targeting here. So if we know our customers over 25, they're not really 65 plus, so we want to target just to 60. We can do that. Facebook will stick with that age range. Now we have our gender here as well. So again, you can target just men if your product's just for men or just women. I'm going to leave this as all. Usually that's a fine option. Men and women can both kind of buy for each other and gift, things like that. Sometimes it's a good option. Facebook will also find what pocket of age range, what gender, and ultimately what the user behavior is like, and it will optimize your budget greatly for the age range and the gender that is getting the best results. So you can actually see that data in the ad account, and you can see which gender is getting the most spend. Facebook's going to automatically put most of the budget towards a certain gender or age range if it's seeing that that's getting the best results. So you don't need to worry about controlling this too much. And then what we can do with the Advantage Plus detailed targeting, this essentially is where we're just suggesting to Facebook an interest. It used to be we'd actually target that interest. Now it's the only option you have is just to suggest something. And so again, what I'd recommend doing here for the detailed targeting is adding in a general interest that's quite broad, that is a good starting place for Facebook. So let's say you have a hat brand and you're looking to target people that are interested in a certain type of hat. Maybe it's a trucker hat, right? You can easily find that interest right there by searching hats. And I recommend just searching hats and finding the most obvious interest that relates to your brand and what you're trying to sell. Facebook knows people that are likely to engage with hat type of products. And because you're optimizing for purchases with the sales campaign, it knows who to target. And so we can just target one interest right here of the most obvious interest. And then what it's going to give you is a bunch of suggestions right here. So you can see after we add that in, right, it gives us a bunch of suggestions right here based on relevance for other interests that are also similar and related. So we have baseball cap, snapback, hat, street fashion. We have engaged shoppers, streetwear, new era cap company. So a couple different things here that we can also get for inspiration for testing interest later. But you don't want to worry too much about the interest targeting. It's not as deep as you think. You just want to add in one interest right here, let that run. And if you're finding it's not working great, that's where you can test in your new angle a new interest as well to see if that works a little bit better. Again, so that's really all we want to do for our Advantage Plus detailed targeting. And again, we're also going to be running a broad audience with the same setup and everything and the same ads just to test both broad versus a interest targeting. Now, if we keep going right here, we can set our language. So I'm going to set English right here. So English all. And then we have our placements as well. We also have ads in threads, which is really cool. So that's getting added in. What we can do here is we can go to, open this up. So we can go ahead and go Advantage Plus placements. So I recommend leaving this on, and this essentially gives you the entire inventory of Meta, including Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and now Threads, I guess. And so what we can do is we can look at manual placement. You can actually see all the different placements that we have. So on the feed, we have the Facebook feed, Facebook profile feed, Instagram feed. We have the Threads feed. I mean, a lot of different inventory right here. We also have all of the stories. So Facebook and Instagram stories, Messenger stories, Instagram Reels, and Facebook Reels. Then we also have search, and then we have apps and different sites. These are all of the inventory right here. So if you wanted to exclude certain things, like if you didn't want to run ads on Messenger and Audience Network, very little budget is going to go there anyways. Most of the budget you're going to see is going to go on the Facebook and Instagram feed because that's where most users are. But if you wanted to, you can exclude certain things. But I just recommend leaving this on as well. Just wanted to show you that that is an option. So now we're going to go next. And now we are at the ad level where we can now create our ad. So right here, what we can do is you can see we have our Facebook page and our Instagram page connected and already pre-selected. Now you can also connect a Threads profile. So if I wanted to connect my Threads profile, I can do that right here too. And I can run ads on all of those platforms now as well. Then we're going to go, it's already selected on create ad. If you wanted to use an existing post that you know is working well, so maybe you have an existing ad that you want to use, again, in that best kind of ad setup campaign, you can select use existing post, and you can go to select post, and you could find an existing, Instagram or Facebook post. So let's say I wanted to use this. I can go ahead and click on continue. And now I am running an ad from an actual Instagram post that I've already created right here. And you can see what it looks like across all different types of placements. And that's how you could run ads, right? And so if you wanted to run multiple ads like this, again, if you're using your best ads or your best organic post or something like that to test out, you can go ahead and duplicate this. So that could be one ad variation. So I'm gonna go 002. And let's say let's call this Gymshark. So now we're gonna go our other ad. So we can use an existing post right here. We can change this. And let's say we wanna run this one. So now we have this one where I'm advertising Kai right here. So I'm gonna name this ad Kai. And now we can see we're using existing posts, and then we can run this ad to a URL right here. So we can add a call to action. So if I wanted to do learn more, I could add that in. I could add in my website right here, update post, boom. Now this post has a link to go ahead and click this to visit my website. And you can kind of see what that looks like now on all these placements. The learn more buttons there, you can click that. It's gonna bring that to my website, and we are ready to go. So that's how to use existing posts. Now I'm going to show you a couple different ways how to quickly duplicate and how to create ads in the best way possible. So for this one, we're going to name the ad set based on kind of the ad angles that we're using. So I'm going to say existing posts. I'm going to name this USA, because that's what we're targeting. I'm going to name this after the age range that we're targeting, so 25 to 60. This is also purchase, and we're targeting trucker hat. So that's what I would name this ad. Now what we can do is we can duplicate this. And so this is the same one. And so if we wanted to run this same ad right here, but now we want to do broad, very, very simple right here. What we can do is essentially just remove this. We're going to name this broad now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down right here. So we want to leave the same options there. We're literally just going to remove the interest targeting, and we're going to have all the same options right here. We don't want to be using the advantage plus audience. We want to be using the original audience options, just broad targeting. So no advantage detailed targeting, just the suggestions right here. And that's what we're going to be running. So this could be our V1. So right, we have our 002, and then this is our 001. Right, and that's an ad that we could turn on right now and start running. Again, using the existing posts. I'm going to show you exactly how to create new ads using those new ads that you've created and how to structure it and to turn that on. So again, I'm going to quickly duplicate this. What we could also do is exit out of this. And now we're at the ad set level. So you can see we have our campaign right here. Then we have our ad set level right here. What we can do is we can go ahead and create a new ad set. A lot easier to just duplicate. So I'd recommend once you create the first ad set, just duplicate from there on out. But you can also go to this level and you can go create a new ad set. You're going to have to fill out all those settings again, so not quite as fast. So I'm just going to duplicate this one right here. So quick duplicate. What I'm going to do is name this one 003. And so what we're going to do for this one is we're going to leave the same interest right here. We're going to have trucker hat. Actually, we're going to do a similar related interest. So we're going to leave all of the settings kind of the same. Except what we're going to do is we're going to search for hat. So maybe this time I want to target streetwear. Because we're selling hats, you know, the streetwear audience is a little bit more broad around streetwear. It might be a better fit for us and get better results. So we're going to go back up. This one is going to be streetwear. Everything else is the same. I'm going to delete this and we're good to go. That's all that we're doing at the ad set level. We're just changing the interest targeting or leaving it broad. Main thing that we're doing is we're adjusting the ads here. So I'm going to go down to the ad level right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete both of these. So now I have this 003 ad set. I'm going to go into here. There's currently no ads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create an ad under this ad set. I'm going to name this 003. Now you can see we have an ad right here. What we're going to be doing now is creating an ad, and what we're going to do is use the format flexible, and this is how we're going to be creating this ad. So going back to here, we went through all of these steps right here. Manual sales campaign, we set it up. This is the ad sets that I just showed you, and that's how we go ahead and set those ad sets up, again, to get results like this right here. And this is kind of what it looks like when you kind of do this very long over the course of many tests. You have different audiences and you're kind of creating different tests, right? So 38, 36, 34, ultimately the ones that win, we keep and we continue to put budget into. So again, we went through all of this. Now what we're doing right here is we're going manual. We're going to go flexible right here. This is where our ad angles come into play right here. So we want to be using these ad angles with 3 creatives, 2 headlines, 2 primary texts within this flexible ad when testing new ads. So this is what this looks like when we actually go ahead and set it up. We're going to use 3 different media. So we're going to upload those media. We're going to do 3 different primary texts and 2 different headlines, right? And so that's essentially what this ad's going to look like. And Facebook's going to automatically rotate and test all those different images, all the different primary text and all the different headlines to figure out the winner, right? And so that's what the ad ends up looking like. These are the different angles that we're using in this case right here. So we have infinite light shows in under an hour. So all of the other elements of the ad are the exact same. We're just changing the headline to figure out which headline resonates most with our audience. Infinite light shows in under an hour, how GTH create dynamic sets, and design your light show in minutes. Now another example is where we're using the same headline from the learnings that we had of which headline worked the best. Now we're using a different visual to see if we can improve upon the visual element. So you can see same headline, different visual elements. So coming back to the ad account that we're creating right here, what we can do is go ahead and add in our media, and we want to add in the media using those existing formats. So for demonstration purposes right here, I'm going to add in these 3 posts that I have. Primary text, we're going to go 001. Then we're going to go primary text 002. We're going to go headline 001, headline 002. Description, don't really worry about the description. Does not really matter. We don't use the description. Does not really impact things. Then we're going to add in our website URL. Call to action right here. I would just do either learn more or shop now. Both are fine. Both are going to get about the same results. So it doesn't really matter. And it's going to show you all the different placements that you have right here. So this is the Facebook feed. We can look at the Instagram feed. We can look at all these different placements right here, the Instagram feed, how everything really looks, just to give you kind of a feel for that. And we are now ready to run these ads just like that, right? So we can go ahead and enable this and go ahead and publish. All right, so we've now published these ads. You can see they're scheduled to run. All of these ads are currently here. You can go down into each of these individual ads now. This is 003. You can see the ad associated with that, and you can go edit. And you can easily view that ad right here. Never edit an existing ad because you're going to lose out on all the engagement that ad is building up, like comments, shares, things like that. So always just leave an ad once you publish it. If it doesn't work, turn it off. But Facebook's going to automatically prioritize the budget into the top performing winning ads. So you don't need to worry about that. Just worry about getting new tests out and new ad sets launched. And so again, now that we have this 003, what we want to do is also test broad targeting right here. So we're going to duplicate with the current settings. We're going to go original. All we're going to do is we're going to go name this 004. We're going to name this broad. And the reason that we're doing this and we're testing this at the start is we want to see which is working best. If you have a lot of account data, broad targeting right from the jump, it might work a lot better. If you're testing a new offer or something like that, then you want to kind of go back to testing interest targeting to give Facebook a better starting place when running ads. But Facebook and its AI will figure it out for you. So you don't need to worry too much about the targeting at a certain point once you have a lot of data. So again, we're going to scroll down here. We're just going to delete this. Boom, this is now ready to go. We're also going to publish this. And this is 004 broad, ready to go as well. Now, lastly, you might have a lot of other questions around ads and how to run them. Once you kind of get things going and start to see results coming in, like how to view the data, and I want to cover all that for you. So how do you integrate already performing ads you've been running, that winning 001 audience? Like I showed you, you want to use the existing post feature. So like you can see here, we have this main 001 campaign, and this is what we do when we're taking over existing client ad accounts. Is we go in, we find their top ads that they've ran historically, and we grab the post ID of those ads. And so when we're going into here, what we do is we go find that ad right here. We go see post with comments on their top ad, and we can see this one has 83 likes, 5 comments, 2 shares. We're going to grab that post ID. We're going to go ahead and create an ad set, and we're going to go ahead and implement that post ID there by going ahead and selecting use existing post, pasting in that post ID, and now we have that existing ad. You can see, look at this ad right here. It has 635 comments, 190 shares, and I'm sure thousands of likes. This is one of our top ads, and we were able to continue to use that ad by using the post ID, and we can publish that across multiple campaigns, multiple ad sets, and continue to run it over and over again. And this is really the holy grail of what you're looking for. You want an ad that's getting a lot of comments, a lot of shares, and doubling down on that ad really to as far as you can scale it. Again, how do you test ads if your account's brand new? Again, follow this structure. How many tests should you run per week? Aim to launch about 2 to 3 new ad sets per week. So that's 2 to 3 new angles essentially, where you can test broad targeting and an interest, right? If you're a new account, test both. If you're already existing, you can just test and start out with the interest that you know is working, or just test broad targeting to start out. How do you optimize the campaigns? So very, very simple. You're using the campaign budget. Facebook's going to optimize that for you. Leave on the high spending, high ROAS ad sets. Anything underperforming, turn off after 3 to 5 days. If it's very close and it could be kind of like a fringe campaign, leave that on. If it's getting still a decent amount of spend, leave that on. Facebook likes that ad. It's prioritizing it. It's getting a good cost per click relative to your other ads. Leave that ad on. It is a strong performer. What to do if your tests aren't getting any spend? Again, Facebook's going to automatically optimize this. If your tests aren't getting any spend, I recommend launching a new ad set, just turning that one off, launching a new again, seeing if Facebook spends. If it's not spending still, it probably spent a little bit and it realized it wasn't getting a good click-through rate. Audience wasn't resonating with it. So it prioritized your other ads that were performing better already over that one. So don't worry about it. Just cut that. Try to launch a new ad with a new angle and continue to test new things. When it comes to budget and scaling, how do you go ahead and scale when you're starting at $100 per day, right? Again, if you are seeing good results, you're starting to see a strong ROAS, 5x, 6x, whatever it might be, start to scale that budget up by about 20% every 24 hours. So what you can do is use that feature where you can schedule the increase. So schedule the increase to go up by about 20% every 24 hours. You can also just do this on the fly. It doesn't matter really if you do it at midnight. It's just kind of a more consistent way to spend. But scale that up by about 20%. If the results stabilize, increase the budget further. If the results go down, then you might want to consider reducing down the budget. But keep in mind, as you scale, your ROAS is naturally going to go down, right? But the increase in volume should make up for that, resulting in more overall profit for you. And so scale that up, be cognizant of your numbers, be cognizant of your profit margins, and scale up conservatively to maximize your returns. And lastly, how do you view the data like I have right here, where you have all of your metrics broken down into a funnel? You have your amount spent, you have your total results, cost per purchase, your CPM, impressions, link clicks, CTR. These are the metrics that I look at every single day. Add to cart, cost per add to carts, cost per purchase, and of course your ROAS, hook, hold, average order value, and conversion rate. To do that, what you want to go is go to columns right here, go to customize columns, and what you're going to be doing is setting up a custom column right here and then saving that as a column preset. So you can go ahead and screenshot this and just look at this. This is what I use for my custom columns in all of my accounts. Super important that you set this up right after you launch your ads so that you can view the data in the best way possible. So set up your campaign, delivery, all these things in this order. And these are some custom ones that you want to do: average order value, conversion rate, hook rate, hold rate, and then that's pretty much it. So set all of those up and you should be good to go to view the data, get started on the best when running Facebook ads, and start to see some amazing results. And lastly, another little tip here is I recommend using a tool called Creative OS if you're looking to turn out high-performing static ad creatives as fast as possible using proven templates. Very easy to use. Go ahead and log into here. It's going to give you Canva templates that you can go ahead and customize, add in your product with your copywriting, and to give you the best chance at launching ads right from the jump that are going to get the best results. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. You can just search Creative OS and you can get started with them if you're interested. All right, you're now one step closer to running scalable, profitable Facebook ads. All right, if you enjoyed the video, leave me a like. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or concerns, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about how to run scalable Facebook ads, Google ads, and more. And since you like this video, I know you're going to like this next one. Check out this video by me next to level up your ad game.